Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be checking out this 25-liter dual compartment cooler from Travoca. So let's go ahead and open it up and see what's inside. Alright, I already took the straps off, so all I got to do is just lift up this right here. Alright, and this is what it looks like straight out of the box. And my first impressions are that this is premium. It's got this, I think this bamboo wood right here. The handles are also like a metal handle with a wood frame. And then to open it up, this handle actually hinges down a little bit to open it. So it actually locks. Because I can see that it actually has two handles right here and here. So you can actually open it from either side or both sides. So let's go ahead and talk about the dimensions of this thing first. It is 25.8 inches across. It's going to be right about 16.9 inches deep or width. And then the height is 14.7 inches. And this thing weighs a little bit over 48 pounds. It is a 12 volt and 24 volt cooler. And I do believe that it has an AC adapter inside so you can plug it into your wall before you go out on your camping trip. The IP rating is an IPX5, so that means it's completely dust proof, but it can handle a little bit of rain, but I wouldn't drop it into a creek or anything like that. Now this is a dual zone cooler, which means you can cool one side and freeze the other. So this can get down to like 20 degrees below 0 Celsius and or -4 degrees Fahrenheit. And one of the things I like about this cooler is, first of all, like I said, the lid can open in either direction. And also in either direction, there is the power plug right here. This is where you would plug in your DC or your AC receptacle. There's one on that side, and there's one on this side along with the controls. So that makes it very versatile when you're trying to put it in your car and plug it in. All right, when it comes to the accessories, you'll find those inside the unit. And what you'll get is your user's manual, and you will get your AC and DC power cords. Another thing inside the unit, like I said, it's dual zone, so you will have this dividing section right here. And when it comes to the inside, along with the dual zones and the removable divider, you will see that there is a drain plug at the bottom and there is a light on the side so you can see what you're doing in the evenings. Now, one thing I like already about this is that this divider comes out, but it says right here that the right control display will turn off when the divider is removed. So it's smart enough to know that when you remove this divider, you don't want dual zones. You only want one zone. And the Travoca cooler does come with an app, so I'll be installing that in a few minutes to find out what we can do with it. All right, well, I went ahead and installed the app using the QR code that is right on the unit itself. When you first open it up, it will ask you to add device, so you just click add device. It scans the Bluetooth and then it finds your cooler. So you just hit the little plus button. It will ask you what size of cooler you have. This is the 25DZ, so we'll select that. Confirm. And we are in. There's no need to sign up for any kind of account or anything like that. Very easy. All right, and what I've noticed on this app so far is that you can see the two sides, the two zones. On the top, there's the deep side, and then there's the side that has the shelf on it, so you can select between the two. And then at the bottom, you can see that all of these things are kind of grayed out because the unit is not actually on. As long as it's plugged in and has power, you can connect to it via Bluetooth. And what's nice is that you can actually power this unit on via the app. So let's go ahead and do that now. And the unit is already starting to power up. You can see that the setting temperature for the deep side is set to freeze, and it is set to 23 degrees Fahrenheit. and it has a range of between -4 degrees Fahrenheit and 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Now if we select the shelf side, it is set for refrigeration, and it is set for 32 degrees Fahrenheit. There is also, let's see, and if we wanted to, if we press the button that says refrigeration, you can switch between refrigeration and freeze. And then the max button, you can either click max for maximum power to refrigerate this item, or you can select eco mode, which will use less energy, but it will take a little bit longer to actually get down to temp. Let's go ahead and select that back to max. And then we have this cog on the right hand side here. Let's click that. And it brings up the function setting, which is battery protection, which is medium. Now battery protection is where if you have this plugged into the 12-volt socket of your car or truck, it won't let your battery in your vehicle get down to a certain voltage because it's not designed to kill your battery. So the refrigerator will turn off before your car or truck battery gets too low. You can also select the temperature unit, so Fahrenheit or Celsius, and device picture. You can select one of the pictures in the options. I don't know why you would change a different size, but whatever. All right, so the app is pretty simple, but it doesn't need to be very complex, which is pretty nice. And I do like the fact that it's just a Bluetooth app. You don't need to try to sign into any kind of website to keep an account or something like that. All right, so now I want to test this thing a little bit. First of all, it says that it can get down from 79 degrees Fahrenheit down to 32 degrees Fahrenheit in 20 minutes. Well, unfortunately, I'm in a basement, so it's actually like 66 degrees Fahrenheit in here. So it should be able to get down to 32 degrees Fahrenheit in under 20 minutes with no problem. I'm guessing more like 15 minutes, but I want to find out. And also on the website, it says that if you plug it into a 1500 watt-hour power station, it should run for 18 hours. And I just happen to have a 1500 watt power station. So I'm gonna do that as well. So let's go ahead and turn this thing on, set both zones for 32 degrees, and see how long it takes. All right, well, I've got both sides set for 32 degrees and I have my timer set, so we will see how long it takes. Right now, my meter says that it is 72.1 degrees in there, so we'll come back when it is 32. All right, well, I went upstairs and I came down after 11 minutes, and this thing already shows 30.8 degrees Fahrenheit, so it is already down to temp, which is amazing. That is twice as fast as what it says in the manual. So that's pretty impressive. I shouldn't say manual, I'll say website. That's what it says on the website. So I would say it definitely passed that test with no problem whatsoever. All right, so my next test is gonna be, let's see if this thing can actually run on a 1500 watt power station for 18 hours, keeping it at 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm gonna go ahead and start this thing up tonight, and so that way it will run all the way through the day tomorrow, and so when I get home from work, it should be roughly 16 hours, and we'll see where it's at from there. All right, everyone, well, I have been testing this Travoca 12-volt cooler for the past day, and something in my calculations were not correct. Let me just kind of show you what's going on here. Okay, as you can see that I've been running this test for 19 hours and 13 minutes, and it's running off of this Opus 1500. This is a 1500 watt-hour power station. And you can see that I have that it's set for 32 degrees on both zones. So that was kind of the test that I did. And on the website, it does state, you can see right here, that it can run for 18 hours on a 1500 watt power station. So I was actually pretty surprised that this thing was still on when I came down here. And now let's go ahead and look at the state of charge on the Opus. 99%. Now, I just figured, I was like, that is wrong. There is no way. And let me kind of backtrack, because what I did is I kind of gave this 12 volt cooler the benefit of the doubt, and I ran it in a real world situation where usually with these 12 volt coolers, you'll plug it into the AC outlet to cool it down all the way, and then you'll plug it into your power station or whatever via the DC plugs. So that's what I did. I cooled it down to 32 degrees, and then I transferred it from AC power to DC power. So it didn't have to do that initial run. Now, by doing that, and with this cooler being so efficient, and it has a vacuum insulated interior, so it can hold its cooling inside very, very well. You know, and this thing's made out of metal. This thing it's premium, so it's not going to lose much of its temperature on the inside. And then that kind of made me question, like, why would the website say that? And so I started to do a little bit of math. And if you look at what this thing runs, when it runs, it uses about 80 watts. So if you multiply 80 watts times 18, you get 1440 watt hours, basically. And that's where they got that number. They're saying that if this thing runs, if its compressor runs constantly for 18 hours, you can power that with a 1500 watt power station. The way I have this set up right now, with it already cool, there being nothing in there, and it's basically never being opened, this thing could run for who knows how long. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to leave this thing here like this, and I'm going to see how many days it can just stay plugged into a power station and stay at 32 degrees. And honestly, the power station is probably going to die because of just the DC conversion being turned on, the DC power ports being turned on. That's probably what's going to use most of the electricity in this experiment. I'll go ahead and give you those results in a short. So if you have any questions about the Travoca 12 volt premium cooler, please go ahead and leave them in the comments. I'll have a link to this item and everything else I used in my description, just in case you want to look further into it. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye-bye.